rapture takes place, your faith will be revealed according to what you've done for God. And it says in verse 6 that you're to rejoice and don't complain about your faith. Don't complain where your faith has brought you. Don't complain because you're suffering. The Bible said if you suffer not with Him, you reign not with Him. Romans 8:17, if we suffer with Him, then we're glorified together with Him, and we are heirs of the world. If you're rich, say amen. That's what the Bible teaches. It said in verse 6, wherein you greatly rejoice. In other words, rejoice in your time of suffering because God's getting rid of the sin nature. God is proving who you are, and God is allowing you to live by faith and walk upright before Him because God has mercy on the poor, and for those that live by faith are great people in the sight of God. If you look in the book of Hebrews chapter 11, you'll find out that's the Hall of Fame. They marched around the walls of Jericho by faith. So the Bible said in verse 6, this is why the disciples, how many of y'all know why when they were whipped, they went out and rejoiced that they were counted worthy to be whipped for the gospel of Jesus Christ? Amen? So it says in verse 7, the trial of your faith, 1 Peter 1:7, is much more precious than that of gold because gold perishes. The trial of your faith makes it more perfect. It makes you more powerful, makes you more capable, makes you more able to do great things. The trial of your faith is based upon basically what you learn. Now, one more quick little revelation here, and I will help you to do something. I talked about casting down imaginations, protecting your mind. Now, this is pretty cool. Are you ready for this? In this Bible that we have, I want you to look with me in Matthew chapter 10, and you'll see what you must do. These guys are all the time telling you, I've heard it on the radio for 40 years, that, there's no more miracles. I used to have a guy come on the radio behind me back in the 80s or early 90s. And you know what he said? Oh, God doesn't do miracles anymore. He said, that was Jesus spitting in the blind man's eyes. He said that was really modern day medicine 2,000 years ago. I turned up my radio when he said that. I wanted to hear this devil. And he said, oh yes, slava activates the tear duct gland. And Jesus spit in his eyes and he began to see. I never heard a lie like that before. I thought, man, this dude can lie, can't he? I know the devil can lie, but I didn't know he could lie that good. Anyway, look here in Matthew chapter 10, verse 5. Very good scriptures. Now look at this. These 12 Jesus sent forth, commanded them to go into the way of the Gentiles in every city of the Samaritans, enter ye not. This time they went to the Jews. But go you rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. In verse number 1 of chapter 10, it says, when he called them to him, look what he did. He gave them powers against unclean spirits to cast them out, to heal all manners of sickness and disease. Now, do you all believe that they were going to go to these Jews, and he's telling them, I thought that was kind of funny, he's telling them they're to cast out devils, and to cast out devils is like cast out devils. And to heal the sick. A lot of sicknesses were brought on by devils, and they are today. But they don't want to talk like that. That's just stupid. You're not supposed to think that. Modern day medicine would lose a lot of business if you learned that demons brought forth sickness and disease. Nevertheless, if you notice some of the things the Bible teach, you look in verse number 8, you find out in Matthew 10, you find out that Jesus actually didn't charge no money, and he said, freely you received and freely give. And I think that's what the Bible is all about. I believe if you use some wisdom, people that don't have a good prayer life, it's because of the church they're raised in and what they didn't hear. The Bible teaches, if you go through the Scriptures, you find out in the Old Testament, when I learned this many years ago, I found out getting up early in the morning before the breaking of day, letting God be your bright morning star, that's one of the best times to pray.